Hello, my name is Larry Chambers. I am 40 years old. I have been fishing all my life. My grandparents used to own a fleet of shrimp boats, and they used to take me out on the shrimp boat when I was still in diapers. I remember growing up on the shrimp boat. They've also owned a fishing pier for 40, 50 years. I grew up on that fishing pier from the time that I could crawl. Whenever I was out there, I was known as the flounder man, because I could go out on that pier at any point, any time, and nobody else would catch a thing, and I would be the only person catching fish. And I can't remember a time that I was not fishing. I started off just fishing from piers and catching local trout, speckled trout, flounder, gaff top, redfish. I fished freshwater. I eventually got myself my first boat, went offshore, started doing fishing offshore. I got into doing some sport fishing. But you know what? Everything that I caught, I released, but what I didn't release, I definitely kept, because I love to eat fish. And I don't care if it's sashimi, ceviche, grilled, blackened, I love fish. I have salt water running through my veins. I can remember a time where I went offshore on my 36-foot sport fish. I have a 36-foot sport fish trolling boat, and we were offshore and we were out shark fishing. And we were about 50, 55 miles offshore, and we were in the Gulf. Well, in the Gulf, it's very rare to see a whale shark. Well, we were at a rig, and a whale shark started swimming around my boat. Everybody in my boat was just gasping about the whale shark. Oh my God, look at that, it's a whale shark. And I stood up on the gun wall of the boat, fully clothed, tennis shoes. I don't know what took over me, but I just leapt into the water, swam over to the whale shark, grabbed the whale shark by the dorsal fin, rode the whale shark around my boat, and swam back to my boat, got back on my boat. The whale shark came back to my boat as it was wanting me to get back on it, rubbing up against my boat. I then got back in the water and rode the whale shark around my boat again. And then he submerged and took me about 15 feet under the water and just took me for this awesome ride. It was great. So, okay, whale sharks are docile and they're very friendly, okay? It's the world's largest species of shark, all right? But what you don't know is the rig that we were tied up to, we were out there catching mako sharks. That water was full of sharks. We had just finished catching a shark. And so everybody was just freaking out that I'm out there swimming around 30, 40, 50 yards away from the boat with just sharks all over the water. Well, I don't have much fear. Which brings me to another thing that I did. I served almost 4 years in Iraq as a high-risk dignitary protective agent. And at one point in time, I was stationed near Basra, which is between the Iran and Iraq border. And there's a river that runs through there, and it's called the Shat River. Well, it separates Iran from Iraq. Well, okay, look, I'm a fisherman by heart, all right? Well, I was on patrol going down there on my downtime, just walking around the river, and I saw these guys, and they were down there. There were some Iraqi people down there fishing, and they had string, and they were trying to catch fish, and they were using just whatever they could find to pick up to get a fish to bite. Well, so I started talking to them, and I was able to talk them into letting me have a piece of string and a hook. Well, look, adapt, overcome, and achieve. So what did I do? I found a piece of cork, and I ran a hook through it, and I tied a line to it, and I used it as a topwater plug. I threw it out, and I sat there popping it across the water, and I caught a Shat. They call them the Shat River trout. And as you can see on video, I'm going to show you some pictures of it. But so the thing is I am such a die-hard fisherman that I am in a combat zone and still fishing. I remember mortars and rockets coming in, and I would have to run away from the river and jump into a bunker and wait for the mortars and rocket attack to finish to be able to go back out and go fishing again. Well, whenever I was in Florida, my parents also owned a fishing pier. and it was a city pier, and they had the contract on it and owned it. It was called the Fish Hook. Well, I grew up on that too. And, you know, we would be out on the pier and we would catch cobia, which are ling, and we would catch, we call them smokers, because when they hit your reel just literally lights up. Just lights up, all right? Your drag's set tight, but it is just peeling line off. Well, a smoker, we call them, their actual name is a kingfish. And that is some good eating fish, and that is a great fish to catch. And you're gonna learn a lot more about me, but so let me go show you around, and we're going to look at a few other things. I said before, I'm a fishing addict, okay? I have been fishing everywhere, whether it's on a lake, in a stream, out in the Gulf, out in the ocean, in the Pacific. I've been to Iraq, I have been to Canada, I've been to Alaska. I have been everywhere fishing. I tell you what, a real fisherman is proud of what he does, and only a real fisherman would put that on his chest. So I am definitely America's #1 fisherman. So anyways, like I said, I have always been fishing all of my life, and I believe that I am America's #1 fisherman. I have experience fishing pelagics. I have experience fishing everything. I use downriggers, outriggers, anything I can use to catch a fish, I will use. I also believe in using the natural surroundings of what you use. You have to know fish are predatory, okay? Fish have a food chain just like everything, okay? So there is a food chain for everything. You just have to know what the fish want to be able to catch the fish. So many people go out and just generically just buy any kind of bait and throw it out expecting to catch a fish. Well, you know, if you target a certain kind of fish and go after that kind of fish, then, you know, you got to know what they want. So say you're after Dorado, okay, which are also known as dolphin. Well, they typically follow the weed lines out in the Gulf, and so you'll go out into the weed lines where the Gulf are. Well, what they're looking for is they're looking for like ballyhoo, and they're looking for ribbon fish and things like that. So what you want to do is you want to emulate whatever that predatory fish wants to eat. Okay, so you just have to adapt and overcome whatever your surroundings are. That's why I would be your pick for America's top fisherman.